And welcome to the Bama Geeks podcast. I'm Brock Parker. That's I'm pointing the wrong way. That's my wife, Jessica. Then
Hello.
Kevin Gardner, Bo Bearden. We're all here. We thank you for joining us. And let's just get this out of the way. This is episode 69, dude.
All right.
All right. We were going to try to do a Bill and Ted focused episode for you guys, but the last couple of weeks have not had a chance to sit down and rewatch it and get all the quotes around in my head. So anyway, there you go. This is the Bill and Ted not episode. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. We thank you for joining us. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We are all recovering carb and tryptophan ingesting people, whatever we had for, we hadn't even talked about what we had for Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah.
You know, I think I had a leftover turkey sandwich right before we started recording on top of everything else I've been doing to finish up my semester. So I really think that's where my energy went.
Oh,
you went.
That really just hit me.
Blame it on
Yeah, I didn't
the
think about-
turkey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You went back in for the turkey,
I did have
the leftover Thanksgiving turkey.
about a half hour before we started recording. I
Oh.
really think that's what happened.
That
There you go.
kind of makes sense now.
Baked,
Yeah.
smoked, or fried?
Smoked.
Ooh, oh, that's right. I remember y'all
That's
said you were
good.
getting that.
Mhm.
How'd
Yes.
that turn out?
Oh my
It was-
goodness.
We weren't disappointed.
No,
No way whatsoever.
that's why I went back in tonight,
Mhm.
third or fourth time for turkey. I was like, it's good.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you
We knew
guys
it would be.
Have you ever done and this is depending on what you feel about it, this may be good or not, I don't know. Have you ever done like a turkey sandwich, but then you take just like thin slices of the cranberry, the ocean spray cranberry sauce, and just put it
Mhm.
on there, kind of like little slices of cheese,
Mhm.
and then just put it on there and eat
No,
it. Eat it.
no,
I have not.
Oh
No,
my
never done
gosh,
that.
man.
Yeah, I tend to avoid cranberry. I notice the of course, if I have to eat it, definitely the canned version is the best.
Yes.
Mhm.
But I tend not to munch on a whole lot of that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Whew.
I don't,
That's
it
the
makes my
best part
teeth
of
tingle.
Thanksgiving for me. What?
Your teeth tingle.
It makes my teeth tingle. I don't. It leaves a funny feeling.
What kind
with
of
my teeth.
cranberry sauce are you
Look.
eating?
Wait,
Grandma's special ocean spray.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, as far as I know, I'm eating the can too. I
This
don't
is-
know.
This is the first time I've heard about this as well, and we've been married almost 5 years now, so now I know that cranberry makes my teeth tingle.
Yeah, cranberry sauce has been forever
That on a
changing
shirt.
me now.
When we ever open up our Bama Geeks merch store, that's going
There
to
you go.
it's our little idiosyncrasies and quotes are going on these shirts.
Well, not to veer off the subject, but you saying that just makes me think about what a couple of weeks ago when he was like, "There's something you don't know about me," and I was
Oh.
like, "What? Oh, please do tell me because we've been married almost 5 years, and I feel like this is important." To which his response was, "I'm not a fan of hormel chili." So I said, "Well, you are in luck, sweetheart, because neither am I, and I have no intentions of buying it." So glad that is settled and
Is it the
understood.
brand of, is it Hormel chili, like chili in general, or just that brand Hormel?
Just that brand.
I make homemade chili. I don't do canned stuff. No. If we're gonna make
Well,
chili,
I'll eat
we're-
all the Hormel chili for you because I love
Okay.
that stuff.
Just like I'll eat all the mayonnaise for Bo.
That's right.
Dude.
And Brock, you can bring me your cranberry sauce. Okay, I'll be perfectly fine with that because
Oh.
it's not a Thanksgiving without ocean spray cranberry, and it has to be ocean spray.
Well, good. I'm
Any
glad
other
all this is
brand?
settled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the fun thing that made me do with this holiday. When I see something covered in a white texture fruit or whatever, it's the guessing game. Is it Cool Whip or mayo? You know, it's
Or marshmallow.
yeah, that's true.
Well, well, Bo, you've got a kid now, so you can just say, "Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
here, eat
go
this."
taste this for me."
Hey, Oliver, what's
Yeah.
this taste like?
Oh, that's so evil. I need to do it.
Send the kid in, man.
That's what kids are for.
That's all right.
That's right, man.
Here,
The
you try
official
this
taste tester for the king here.
Yeah. Oh my.
Well,
Oliver, I got a new job for you this year.
Yeah. That's some psychological warfare. That's what I like.
Dad, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, that's true. I can only do it once. I got to pick the right thing.
That's right. Make it a good one.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, where was I gonna go? I'll plug him again. Austin Whereabouts here in Birmingham. Give him a look if you want some good barbecue, and
Mhm.
that's where we got our turkey this year, and that's certainly why I keep going back to it.
And we
For
got
ribs.
4th of July from him this year. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh
We're
man.
we are he's doing great with the business, and we do not mind supporting him at all, because
Mhm.
it's been fantastic. We've never been disappointed with anything.
Yep.
Mm.
So, the last couple of weeks, we'll do our round table like we always do here at the beginning of the episode. We'll see what have you guys been up to the last 2 weeks?
You, Kevin, or me?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. The annual moving of the leaves. Where we
Shifting
get
them
out
from one
there-
part of the yard to the other.
That's right. You shift, or even more fun, you get on your riding mower and you get it all in one big pile, and you just mulch it up. But the more important thing is, see if it's you or your neighbors who can run your leaf blower longer
Ah,
before your battery dies, because you can't let them, you can't finish before they do, right? So you got to keep going, right? At least that's what I say in my head. But anyway, yeah, just the whole annual moving of the leaves around and mulching, and trying to balance out, leaving some leaves, because I don't know if you guys know this, but leaving, obviously mulching your leaves is good for just to kind of go ahead and start getting the leaves back into the earth, so that you can. It's just the whole cycle of the earth. It's just breathing in, and then it drops the leaves, and then it helps your lawn, right? But if you do leave the leaves in place, fireflies actually they actually put their eggs. They actually deposit their eggs on the undersides of fallen leaves. So if you actually do have a spot where you can leave leaves, and you're actually helping the firefly population.
Well, our backyard should be prime spot for them right now, because we don't do anything. We leave the leaves where they
the
are.
leaves just sit because.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, okay. That's nice to know, though. At least we're doing something for the firefly
We
community.
do have fireflies in our yard quite a bit.
Yep.
Which
Yeah.
I'm all in favor of. I love watching them.
Yeah.
You probably have a life cycle of them that live there, because you don't ever do anything in your backyard with the leaves.
We are not yard. We are honestly not very hung up on our yard, or other than just keep it cut. Just cut the yard. I don't care. We get somebody else does it. We don't do well. We don't just handle
We don't deal with it. Yeah, yard work is. I know I've talked about it on here before. Not my favorite thing.
Yeah,
I got you. I know me and Bo are we're kind of.
I appreciate it more than I
enjoy
used
it,
to.
and-
Yeah.
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 The only other thing that I wanted to mention is the big thing that I did in the last 2 weeks was I built a new computer, the computer that I'm on right now. Brand new computer, first full base rebuild I've done in about 7 years. My main machine, and I'm hoping to get another 10 years, hopefully, out of this one. I got 7 out of the last one before I got annoyed with it, and it was just not doing as well as I wanted it to, and then needed to do an upgrade. So I'm hoping this one will last me another 10 years. I've got more storage space in this than I do in any other thing in my house at this point. So it's just I'm hoping it'll last a very long time. But the good thing is, and I can't, unfortunately, where my camera is, or I would show you guys, but it's got more RGB in it than it used to. It's actually a little more hypnotic than it used to be. So yes, I realize that's kind of that's one of the things that the younger generation does with computers. They want to do RGB, but I don't know. I've always been drawn to doing lights in computers. I mean, kind of aging myself a little bit with computers. I was so into doing RGB. I was like one of the original like OGs of doing that. Because back in the day where you bought normal computer cases and you bought a kit where you had to go out and Dremel open a spot in the side of your computer and you put a window in it, and so you had to build your own window, and then all of the 12-volt accessories that you got to light it up came from AutoZone. You would buy this little block, and I still have it in one of my bins in the closet, but you buy this little block and it would hook up to the Molex connector on your power supply, and then you could it had little screws on it, and you could just screw wires into it, and you could just power 12-volt accessories. So I had a computers with a cutout window in it. The computer looked so weird because you never would have thought that it would have a window in it.
Yeah.
That had showing off parts that probably didn't need to be shown off because they didn't build parts back then for looks.
Yeah.
Right.
Like my 3DFX Voodoo card.
Oh my goodness! Yes,
yes.
yes.
That was actually the computer that I had the thing cut in the side. I had a 3DFX Voodoo card in that computer.
That was like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Actually, more than that, because I had one when I was in the Air Force, and I got out in '97.
Well, but it wasn't. Remember, it wasn't just
'98.
The Voodoo line wasn't just one card. It was like there was a series of them. So they were going for I think it was almost a decade.
Yeah,
there was a span there. But I remember I had a Voodoo card in there, and I really wanted to show it off, and I was really into that. And these kids these days, they've got it easy. You just buy a case that's got a window in it already, and then back in the day, I had to get my Dremel out and cut a hole and put it in there with a rubber seal and all kinds of stuff. So I've been doing this a long time. It blows me away what you can do now. Because I look over the computer and it's just like you just don't want to look away. It's hypnotic. so yeah, that's kind of been my thing.
Yeah. So if we lose Kevin halfway through, you know what's happened. He just stopped. Squirrel, and have that moment.
Yep.
Oh, what about you, Bo?
Well, I'll piggyback on what he said. Yeah, I built my PC a couple years ago. The only thing of mine that has RGB in it, and I didn't even know it came with it, was my processor. The processor fan has RGB in it. So that's the only thing. And of course, like I said, with us being the Ghostbuster nerds, when everyone says RGB instead of the colors, I always go to real Ghostbusters. That's just where my brain goes.
Right.
But let's see. For me, between then last time, it was work, fun, and then mostly it's been all Thanksgiving. Friday night, Oliver and I went to a Bulls game. Got a hockey jersey. I sent them the picture. It was the first. I want to say, was it 1,500 or 1,000 people? And when I got there, it was all the way out the door to about midway in the parking lot, and I'm like, "There's no way I'm getting one." Because and we got there an hour before the doors opened. Doors opened at 7. We got there at 6, and I believe there was people there that's been there since 3:30 or 4, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Well, I was going to tell you I don't know if you were aware, but that earlier in the afternoon, because they advertised it on their Facebook page that they were having like a little tailgate kind of tailgate party prior to the game. Yeah. So that's why a lot of people were probably already there earlier than normal. Yeah.
But yeah, it surprised me. I was like, man, there's no way I'm getting in there. But by the time we got to the door, they were still handing them out. Kiddo was a little sad he didn't get one, but it's for the adults.
Yeah.
So, but we picked him up a shirt. I got me a Bulls hat. I was like, you know what? I need a new hockey hat. I have a Bama hockey hat that's probably 11 years old.
Oh my.
So, yeah.
Older than your son.
Yes. But we had a good time. Bulls had the very good game. They trampled Pensacola.
Good.
We did all that, and let's see. Friday at I'm just trying to think. Once again, I can brag on the DIY handiness. I've got a brick wall in my garage, and I was wanting to put up a tool hanging rack. And like I said, I was like, I didn't want to really drill into the concrete or the cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks.
Yes, that's what I want to drill into them. So my stepdad brought up a good point. I didn't think about it, but liquid nails or Gorilla Glue. I got me a 2x4 and put some Gorilla Glue on it and let that cure. And I'm pretty sure that thing's going to be there long after I'm gone now.
It's probably holding the cinder blocks up now.
Yeah, for real. Beyond that, and the other thing, we just did it today, and like I said, this as you see, I'm much better dressed than I normally am because we went to church today. Because Oliver's been going to my parents' church for VBS and all that stuff. We don't go to church that often, but we go, and hey, it's what makes my parents happy and him happy. And Oliver got baptized today, so
wow,
that's why I saved that for the reaction there. So
yeah, congratulations.
So regardless of your belief system, hey, it's something. It was important to him. It's important to my mom and all them. And I'm happy for him. That's the biggest thing. So
awesome!
Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah. I wanted to. That's why I didn't tell you. I wanted to save it for the general reaction there. So.
I love genuine reactions.
Yeah.
But beyond that, that's it. So I say that's one of the reasons why one of the few times you'll see me actually dressed up. So
I didn't notice
I-
this. You kind of had more of the, the
well,
collar
like I said, yeah.
for you today,
He's
Yeah,
business casual.
Well,
Business casual.
actually, I feel I'm glad I still look
baptism
decent because
casual.
I'm not gonna lie because we went to that, we did that, and then we had we ate lunch with my in-laws and my
Mhm.
parents afterwards, and then we came home and I was like, I'm taking a nap today. So
Look, hey, you did Sunday proper. You went to
Yeah.
church, you had
Yeah.
lunch, you come
Yeah.
home and took a nap.
I sat down. I'm down here in my area. I got a chair. I laid down about 4:30, and I set an alarm for 6:30. So I was sitting there, and I woke up once about 5:45, 6 o'clock to look for our little message notification you usually send out, Brock. And I was like, okay, you ain't sent it out, so I got another 30 minutes. So
Well, I'm telling you that one of that Sundays when I got a little nap before we did the podcast, man, it's like it made a world of difference in me.
Yeah.
And then I'll sit here before we get started. I'm like, oh, I didn't get a little nap, but been kind of busy. So.
Yeah. Yeah, she was putting all the ornaments on the tree this evening and all, and yeah, show it off, honey. There
Yeah,
you go.
There we
There
go.
you go.
The tree is
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, and everybody knows who listens to this podcast knows that I have been wrapping up
The saga of Brock.
the saga of the master's degree. 2 classes this semester. I've got 2 papers. My 2 final papers due this week. I finished one today and started writing the script for a video presentation that I have to shoot for the class. That just has a brief overview of this paper. And I've got another 12-pager due by Friday. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing all weekend. I have not left this computer desk hardly at all the last few days. But prior to that,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
the Friday before Thanksgiving, we grabbed the kids and took off to Disney World.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, I have made mention on these episodes before about the drivers in Birmingham and how terrible y'all really are. Y'all got nothing on Central Florida.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.
We got down into Gainesville, or like north of Gainesville. We drove this time.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be a 10-hour drive from Birmingham to Orlando.
Mhm.
And we got to Gainesville, which is about an hour and a half north of Orlando. And traffic just came to a stop.
Mhm.
And we inched along from Gainesville to Orlando.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
It was-
long.
It was a solid
Ooh.
crawl. I mean, I don't think we got above 40 miles an hour for that entire
Brock.
distance.
There's a reason that the collective insurance premiums in Florida, from home insurance all the way to driver's insurance, are in on average 4 times more than anywhere else in the U.S.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Florida's, it's gotten pretty bad there, especially when insurance is concerned.
If it had not been for the cost savings we got from renting, we had gotten, I had rented a minivan. I was going to be the dad, and we were going to drive the minivan, and we got over to Enterprise Rent a Car, and they said, hey, for a free upgrade, we'll get you this Chevy Tahoe, 2023 Chevy Tahoe, this tank. And I said, yes, please. So it was a free upgrade. And man, that thing drove like a dream.
It was nice. It was very nice for a long car ride. Yes.
Yeah, it was very nice.
How'd you like
And
feeding it though?
I bet say I bet it was really thirsty.
Okay. Well,
Well, I'll finish traffic and then I'll tell you about the cost to actually fill that thing up. Gainesville to Orlando added 2 hours to our trip. So it took us 12 and a half hours to get down there. And we were exhausted, but by golly, we were going to Disney Springs that night.
look, I mean, I needed to get poutine. I needed to get the Dole Whip. I mean, it was just and chicken guy
and
and
the churros.
Well, we didn't get churros at Disney Springs.
Did we not?
No, we did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she had to have. We waited till Animal Kingdom to get the churros. Yeah, she had to have this food, and she was not happy. until we got to the little place there in Disney Springs that sells poutine. That made her happy.
Oh,
Then
my goodness.
Then she started perking up. Then we got the chicken guys. She really perked up.
I was getting hungry, and I was just yeah.
Yeah, Snickers.
And plus, I'm trying to correspond with Rook too. Like winter. Hey, we're this this far away. This was our ETA. Trying to correspond with him too as well. So
yeah, he and his girlfriend. That's who we wound up spending the weekend with, and a wonderful time. But anyway, yeah. So traffic in Central Florida, we're flying next time. As far as the Tahoe and gas, every tank got 530 miles on it. And just to give you some context, gas prices were $2.87 or so on average down there. We stopped to fill it up. We were almost on empty. It only took $56 to fill it up.
We had a full tank when we left Birmingham. You topped it off when we got to Opelika.
And then we had to fill it all the way up when we got to.
Is that good?
It wasn't as bad as we thought. I mean,
we spent a quarter of a tank getting from Birmingham to Opelika, and I thought, and it cost me $30 to fill up that one quarter of a tank, and I went, oh no, this is going to be a massive bill. But then we get down there, and to fill it up from near empty to completely full was only $56. I'm like, that doesn't make sense in my brain, but I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, gas was not bad at all. I think on the way back, we filled it up one time on the way back. We stopped down in Tifton, Georgia. So where we got off I-75 and wound up filling up and wound up being right around 50, 55.
Like gas was cheaper. Like when we went to the beginning of October when we went to Legoland. Yeah, that little like the slower part of Georgia, upper part of Florida, gas was really was less compared to everywhere else I saw.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, it was around 260, 257 down in that area.
Yeah, so we didn't run into the Gainesville, Orlando problem because we got to Gainesville and then we kind of went the other side because we went to I think it's Winter Haven, Florida. That's
Towards
where
Tampa?
Legoland. Kinda. It was like it's more on the western side of the state.
Yeah, but the drive back was much better.
Yeah,
we didn't hit any traffic issues coming back, so we made it in about 10 hours.
How was the crowd down there at Disney?
Not bad.
No, not bad.
I think it got worse as the Thanksgiving week went on, but we came home on Tuesday. So we we missed right at, those couple of days butting up against Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Crowds were not bad at all. A little bit of wait, and we did wait 105 minutes for Ratatouille in Epcot.
Okay.
Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
In that line for that ride.
It's cute, but it's not 105 minutes wait worth of cute.
Yeah.
So, but it was something we had never done before. So, we just figured why not? Because when we were in Epcot, the day we were in Epcot, we were going to do the Frozen ride because it was shut down when Brock and I were back. We're there in March. So, and it said 70 minutes, but we were in line maybe 40. So, I mean, I know that's kind of like, they kind of rough estimate that number, but definitely Ratatouille was on point. So,
well, Ratatouille, when we got in line for Ratatouille, it was 85 minutes,
yeah.
85 minutes, and add another 20 to that. Not worth it.
I didn't think it was ever going to.
Like a motion thing.
It's kind of it's like a precursor to Rise of the Resistance. Like it's a trackless car.
Yeah. You kind of do the turn and back up and turn and and it has the screens and everything. So
did they stick a mouse on your head?
No, you're in a mouse.
You are a mouse.
You are a mouse. They
shrink as you're going through the queue. You notice that things start getting bigger, and so as you're walking through the queue, it's making you feel like you're reducing in size to a rat, and then when you get on the ride, you are one of the rats running around the kitchen.
Yeah.
Do you Do you make food, and does Gordon Ramsay does he critique your food or something?
No, but it's the kind of type of ride too that you're in, and like depending on kind of what scene you're in, they pipe in the smells and everything. So like
Oh.
when you're in the kitchen, you can smell all the you have the food smells going on and things like that. So yeah.
And when the oven and you wound up at one point beneath the oven,
Mhm.
and you see, of course, you got the screens above your head, and it shoots flames, and it gets warm in there, and everything else. So
Yeah.
it's a sensory ride. It's 3D. Put on your
Mhm.
3D glasses and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all good until somebody opens up the durian fruit in the ride, and you're like,
Yeah, the first day we were there, we did Animal Kingdom. We got to do the Avatar ride and let the kids experience that. That's an awesome ride. You can go on the ride not knowing nothing about. I've never seen either one of the movies. You can do the ride without knowing anything about the movie, and it's beautiful.
Mhm.
It is a super fun ride.
And my son, who is turning 15 this week, uh, has always hated roller coasters and motion rides and stuff like that. And he was not thrilled about getting on the back of a banshee and flying over Pandora, but I think he got over it pretty quickly.
Mhm.
And he did well. He did extremely well
He did,
for the
yeah.
the coasters and stuff.
First
down
time
there.
experiencing a ride like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't do Everest with us.
No.
Myself, Brock, and Rookie did that, but we did single rider so that we could just
Zip
so
zip
we could
through the
ride
line.
it and
Yeah.
have it while we were there. The kids waited on us to finish that. Neither one of them wanted to do Everest, and then we did get to do the safari, which a lot of the animals were out too, so we got to see a
Mhm.
lot of the animals.
That was really cool.
Um, we moved over to Hollywood Studios after Animal Kingdom, and then as soon as it wasn't in our plans we knew we were going to do Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios that first day, but it wasn't in our plans. We didn't think we were going to do Galaxy's Edge. Well, we get over to Hollywood Studios, and Rook checks the wait time, and it was like 35 minutes for Smuggler's Run. So we booked it.
Yeah, we were going to do all the Star Wars stuff on Sunday night, and
Yeah.
you're like, no, we're doing it now.
Yeah.
There was no waits on Saturday hardly for these things.
And that was the first time that Brock and myself had done Smuggler's Run. We didn't get to do it back in March. So that was a new ride experience for us. And it's fun. I enjoyed it. I prefer Rise of the Resistance over Smuggler's Run, only because you have to do things in Smuggler's Run. You can't it's not like a ride you can just sit back and it just does everything for you or you're enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
No, I was a pilot. And I stunk as a pilot.
Well, and the thing is, at least you got to see the flight.
Yeah.
I'm in the back as an engineer pushing
Yeah.
buttons when they start flashing. So I spent more than half my ride looking at the
Mhm.
sidewall, waiting for lights to start flashing
Yeah.
and hitting. So I barely got to see any of the screen and the action of the flights.
Well, I got Rook yelling at me, left, Jessica, line it up, right, left. I was like, I'm just trying to, there's a lot going on. So you've got your pilots, you've got your gunners, and you've got your engineers. And it's a cool ride, but you are in charge you're supposed to be doing things. If you understand what I mean, you're supposed to be doing things. You can't just sit and ride the ride.
Yeah.
And you have to have 6 people on this ride. And it was the 5 of us.
Oh my God.
And then we had like a little Filipino lady who couldn't speak English.
Oh, boy.
And she's trying to say stuff in her language. We're just like, okay.
And of course, Alyssa's trying to talk to her, and then she's like, I don't think she's got a clue as to what Alyssa was trying to say.
She's giving Alyssa this blank look.
So yeah, we got to do Smugglers, and then we got to do we went did a couple things around Galaxy's Edge, and then got on Rise. And that was pretty much our first day at Disney. Also while we were in Galaxy's Edge, we were standing there, and Chewbacca starts walking through. I'm like, oh, Chewie. And I was going to get my picture with him. So he's walking through the park, and I was like, Chewie. I was like, can we get a picture? And he takes my arm and puts it into his, and we and him just start walking off together.
Oh,
He's
Lord.
just walking through the park. He's taking me with him. So I was like, okay.
He's got to win.
So that was fun.
By the
You
way,
guys
Kevin,
You didn't mention the disappointing part though.
What's that?
You didn't mention the part where the Falcon was growing greenery.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
go.
yeah. If you're in the queue for Smuggler's Run, and when you get up to the top, you can
Mhm.
see like the rear top of the Falcon. Look in the middle part. There's a couple of ferns growing out of the top of it because they don't go up there and check it. Apparently,
It's a Minoc plan. That's what I tell you.
I figured that the Ewoks put it there
Yeah.
from indoor, but
Yeah.
I would get up there, and the first thing I would do is look down, and I would just yell at the top of my lungs, "My immersion has been broken!
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm in Disney anymore."
I was going to tell you, Kev, when she was meeting up with old Chewy there,
Mhm.
we arrived and did that the day after Life Day, so we
Yeah.
missed the Life Day festivities.
Didn't realize that until we were like, oh crap.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
yesterday.
that was yesterday. So
So they won't release the video, but they'll acknowledge the events of it.
They will.
of
Absolutely.
course, you got to recognize Life Day. Um,
And the kids love the blue milk.
yeah, we all had blue milk. Yep, sure did. But I mean, and like we said, we did Epcot the second day that we were there. All day Epcot. We traveled the world. We rode Guardians, of course. I just can't tell y'all that ride. That ride
Magic.
is so amazing.
Yeah, we can't plug that ride enough. If you
No.
if you don't ride Guardians when you go to Epcot, you are missing out if you can get on it.
And I hope that you don't try to go and look at anything ahead of time or try to get more.
Yeah,
You need to go into that ride green, but just like we did.
Yeah, and we wouldn't tell the kids anything
Mhm.
about it because we rode it in March. And David, he, like I said, he's not been a fan of coasters. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to go to Disney. He didn't want to do the parks
Yeah.
because he didn't want to do the rides. He was very apprehensive. His mom was telling me, in private, she's like, David was really nervous about these rides. He's very anxiety filled about these. I said he'll be fine, and sure enough, he
Yeah.
was fine. It was my daughter that freaked
Well,
out.
Well, and let me kind of just give a little backstory to that. Prior to us doing Guardians, we got to Epcot, and we did a couple of things, and it's like, let's just grab me and Alyssa wanted to grab Starbucks. So we at that point we thought we had about a good hour or so before we had to get in line for Guardians. So as soon as Alyssa and I get our Starbucks, we got drinks in the hand. We find out we got to go to Guardians right now. So Alyssa has a venti peppermint mocha,
Which is the biggest drink.
which is the biggest drink because we figured we had time to sip our drinks and enjoy our drinks in Epcot. So Alyssa had to chug. Well, she probably could have held off, but we didn't know. You're supposed to have your drink done before you get onto the ride. She chugged that venti peppermint mocha. So she's got that caffeine in her, and buddy, her heart is just racing.
She panicked a lot
no.
in the queue, and Dave was just sitting there going, "Okay, this is cool," and Alyssa's like, "Oh my gosh, freak out moments."
Yeah.
So,
Hey, but before we get too far away from talking about the Disney and whatnot, I wanted to show you guys this for Life Day.
Mhm.
Gentle Giant.
It's
this.
That is hilarious. Look at
Nice.
that.
Look at that.
That looks good
Look
though.
look how freaking cool that is, man. Yeah, no pre-order, but I think that there was also a special edition with this that you could get for like if you were on the premium club that came with a little porg.
Oh.
He had a little wreath around him and whatnot. I don't think it's with this edition. But I can tell you from a collector's perspective, I love that they're doing images now where they actually put a ruler next to it, so you know
Yeah.
how tall it is. That's always been my biggest complaint. They won't tell you how tall it is because they don't have the thing finalized yet.
There's no banana for scale.
That's right. Man. You need banana for scale, and you can't. You know what, Bo? You can't even use bananas for scale now because they come in all different sizes and stuff.
That is true.
Organic ones are smaller. So yeah.
Sideshow.
It's not all about the banana. It's how you use it, right?
Sideshow will post pictures of apples next to their statues sometimes.
Well, and just I guess just to wrap things up, like I said, we had our second day all day in Epcot. We finished off in Magic Kingdom. Crowds were not bad, like you said, but the park was beautiful. All the Christmas decor out, and just had a fun day wrapping it up in Magic Kingdom. Got to see the Frozen holiday show and Haunted Mansion, of course, and
Ariel.
yeah, Ariel, yeah. So we had a great time. We were so glad that we were able to make it. The weather was great, a little warm, but that's okay. Better than being there in the summer. So lots of fun. Good trip.
Yep.
Cool. Glad to hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Thanksgiving for everybody. So we hope you all had a good one.
And then back to writing papers for Brock.
And it's back to writing papers.
Back to reality.
Last week of the semester. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, there goes gravity. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
So before we shuffle off into the rest of the episode, if you're still with us, hit us up on social media at Bama Geeks on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We're there. Probably going to upload the entire video instead of doing clips of this episode, just because of last week of the semester. Don't have a whole lot of time to cut them, so may give you the full episode this time, just as a hey, how you doing? Because I realize, last episode you guys only got the intro on YouTube, and apologies for that. I just flat out ran out of time. I thought I was going to be able to do it right before we went to Disney, and I just ran out of time. So sorry. So we'll give you this full episode. But if you're on Facebook and want to chit chat with us privately in our private group, the Bama Geeks Front Porch, just search for that. And we spend about 40 minutes with our Patreon members. Patreon.com/Bama Geeks, $5, bonus episodes, Discord, stuff. So there you go.
Just a sneak preview for you guys for today's Patreon. Yeah, the Patreon got to witness us figuring out how to share a tab in the stream, because apparently none of us could figure out how to do it
with audio.
With audio.
Troubleshooting with the Bama Geeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I may actually just maybe share that YouTube video on the front porch after this, just to kind of, so folks that even if you don't have Patreon, you can witness one of the best marching band trombone solos I have ever seen in my life. It was incredible.
That was good.
Mhm.
That was really good. So, well, we've got our Bama Geek Southern words and phrases and dad jokes, and we'll make the smallest member of our Bama Geeks family here. We'll make her the biggest.
To me on the big screen.
There you
hey,
go.
with all the Christmas behind me. So festive.
What you got this time, baby?
I have selected for this episode pot calling the kettle black.
Nice.
This phrase is used when someone is guilty of the very same thing in which they are accusing someone else.
Okay.
All
No
right.
context or anything.
Well,
Give us
no,
an
I guess
example.
not. That's pretty much, what it is, I guess.
There's different
Okay.
variations of that, yeah.
Yeah. Pot calling the kettle black.
Okay.
I'm
What?
sorry. Did I disappoint?
Use it in a
I gave-
sentence.
I gave
Yeah.
my
Yeah, usually you use it in a sentence or whatever, and so
Oh, I'm so sorry.
yeah.
Well, let's see.
No pressure.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, that's the pot calling the kettle black.
There you go.
There we go.
That's pretty much how you use it right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on to you, Kevin. Dad jokes.
All right. I'll look through some tonight, guys. This one got me chuckling. Usually, if it's good one, it gets me chuckling. It's going to be a pretty good one. So, if one of these days, if I ever have twin daughters, I'm going to name one of them Kate, and then I'm going to name the second one Duplicate.
It's kind of like, this is my son Pete and his brother Repeat.
Repeat, yeah. I like that. Duplicate.
It's like, oh God.
Very nice.
I'm sorry. Usually I get accused of rambling on too much. I was trying to be to the point and concise and brief, and then I get
It's all right,
kind of
Jess.
like I get chastised a little bit.
Oh, that's the wife in her coming out
Oh,
right
man.
there.
All right, Jess, we're going to need you to roll a d6 for intimidation.
And I've got the dice right here.
Okay,
D6.
D6, yeah. Roll.
I don't have a D6. How do I not have a D6 here? I'll give you D20.
There you go.
Wait, hang on.
Yep.
Check this. This is the Arby's dice.
What?
We get-
What? Yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all didn't know
Arby's-
Arby's came
yeah,
out with a
when,
set of dice.
when the Dungeons and Dragon movie came out, Arby's released a set of D&D dice, and they've got the little.
What?
I don't know how well you can see that. They got the little Arby's hat inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool.
What?
Yeah,
And they were always so hard to find. Like you could, like they sold out immediately after they would announce they had them put
Yeah.
back on sale. They would
Yeah.
sell out.
yeah, and I found them for $5 on eBay. Somebody sold them for like at
Nice.
price. I was like, okay.
That's
So
wild.
D6. What does Jess get? Jess gets a 4.
Okay. That's legit.
All right.
Okay. Hey, Bama Geeks, keeping it real, right?
Well,
Okay.
and the next time we'll have to make sure all three of us roll, a D6 for perception. For sure. At that point, so.
Oh me. Well, because of Disney and because of homework and everything else, from our perspective, we really didn't have a whole lot to dive into tonight. We have done no research whatsoever, so we decided prior to this episode that we're going to let Kevin drive the ship, and he's got a couple of things that he wants to talk about, and we'll chime in. 3, Trace.
Yeah.
He's got 3 things he wants to just chit chat with you guys about, and we'll jump in whenever we feel it
Yeah.
appropriate, I guess.
Sure.
What we got tonight, man?
All right, you guys try not to fall asleep. Okay. No, I'm just joking. No,
I did have turkey tonight.
Yeah, you did have you a turkey sandwich, didn't you? Okay, so big thing that as of the time of our recording now, last night premiered the first Doctor Who episode for season 14. This is with Russell T Davies taking back over control of the franchise. You can tell that when Mr. Davies came back, they gave him a budget. And a big budget. Like we're talking Disney level. It's very the effects, the intro, the TARDIS intro, the logo, everything is all redone. The music is phenomenal. I'm not gonna, at the request of Brock and Jess, since they're gonna watch this, and I'm sure at some point maybe you'll watch it. I'm not gonna spoil it, but this one, this is the one where we get the 10th Doctor.
14th
he comes
Doctor.
back. Yes. We get number 10. He comes back here. This particular episode, without spoiling things, answers a lot of questions about his relationship with Donna and how things ended up with her. And this is nothing I'm spoiling. You could get this from just looking at previews, really. Just overall, we get introduced to the Meeps, which this is really, really hilarious considering they're like Jim Henson-esque, cutesy little. You just have to see it. It's hilarious. And the whole episode itself, David Tennant just fell right back into it. The role. It's like he never left. And obviously he's older now. He's a good, what is it, 20 years ish? No.
Well, I know it's 10 years since the
20
last time he's been the Doctor, because that was when the 50th
Mhm.
anniversary.
Yeah, so it's been close to 20 years since he, maybe 15, 20 years since he actually was acting alongside Catherine Tate, and he just fell right back into it. It's the same. If anything, he's older. It's almost like he's a little bit wiser and he's more intense. And the whole thing is that they're trying to figure out why the whole, I guess the Time Lord powers that be have brought back his face. No one can quite figure out why he's there yet. And I'm assuming that's probably going to be the story that gets told along with this, because they've already revealed that Neil Patrick Harris comes in at some point as most likely I think he's a villain in this, which I mean,
Ooh.
I believe he
yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That'll be fun.
yeah.
From the trailer, he's something like the toy maker or something like that. I think.
Yeah, I think he's like
And
an
that was-
old, something from like the 60s or 70s,
Yeah.
I want to say, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's rest assured, if you haven't seen it, by the time you're watching this, just watch it. It just feels like putting on a good old warm blanket. It just feels good. If you liked the 2005 version of Doctor Who that started with when they rebooted it, if you like any of that stuff, you're gonna love this because I'm not gonna get too opinionated with the way that Doctor Who kind of moved with the last Doctor. With Jodie Whittaker. She is a phenomenal actress.
Yeah.
She just did. I don't think she had a very good writing team.
Yeah.
And with BBC being a little more, for lack of a better word, agended with some of their content, it influenced a lot of Doctor Who and I think it really brought it down quite a bit.
Yeah.
And Russell T Davies is there's some instances of things in the episodes, but he doesn't make the episode about it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So there's a mention of pronouns. There's a mention of some things like that. But it's not like it overrides the entire episode like Jodie Whittaker stuff did.
Yeah.
So it's you guys are gonna love it. It's very good, and I really look forward to what we get for the rest of this, because this leads up to obviously what we're going to be getting with our next Doctor with number 15.
Right.
So
How many episodes do we have with Tennant?
I think it's 3 or 4 specials.
3. Yeah. This is
specials?
gonna be like a primer. Yeah. It's a special to prime us to get us into the next Doctor.
Okay.
And as it looks right now, the next Doctor, we're most likely only going to have him for 2 seasons. Normally it's 3. It's usually 3 seasons, but he is I'm intentionally not saying his name because I'll butcher it.
Yeah.
But he's a accomplished stage actor, which a lot of folks that are on Doctor Who, like a lot of the doctors are anyway. And he's already said he's looking forward to going back to the stage after they finish filming the next season, because they're actually actively filming the next season right now. So it's back in the good old fashioned Davies era of, we'll get ready to release a season while we're filming the next season, and then they just keep hip hopping, hopping with the schedule like that. So,
they've already done something cool with him. I saw, like I said, I'm trying not to do that spoilery, but they did do something kind of neat with the next Doctor, related to the airing of the In Space and Time, the special they did where
you saw that, huh?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Or are you talking about the one where he looks back at the first Doctor?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did see that photo. I saw a photo of that. I haven't seen
for the 50th anniversary, they had it where it's him and Matt, where they had a good moment. Well, they've updated it to be him, and I guess I'm with you. I don't want to butcher his name out of respect, because like it's a very,
just say number 15.
Yeah. But I think he's going to be a good Doctor just from the clips they've shown already.
He has the look. He has you can just he oozes charisma and just that quirkiness to him with just his face.
Yeah.
He doesn't even say anything. So yeah, I just want to say I loved Jodie Whittaker as Doctor. I think she was great. She just did not have good writers. I think that they really bled her down.
Yeah.
The only episode we ever saw was when they were ending it and bringing, David Tennant in. And I mean, I enjoyed that episode. I thought,
she was really good in that episode. We did like her, but we didn't watch. I mean, Jenna Coleman is still alive in where I stopped of where.
Okay.
With
Capaldi.
Capaldi.
Capaldi,
we never
you
finished
finished
his run.
Capaldi's last season. Oh
my God. Capaldi's
so good.
first season, season 8, was that almost stopped me watching Doctor Who, because
it was a little rocky. Great. His first season,
But as soon as he came out on top of an M1A1 Abrams tank with his glasses on
and guitar.
with a guitar, I was like, they finally figured out how to do Capaldi, because just let him be himself, let him be a musician, and he just, from then on out, every
to
episode
me, his last like 3 episodes of his last run, especially the last 2, Heaven Sent, Hell Bent, and then I can't remember the one with the dealing with the Cybermen again, which was his last 2. His last 2 episodes were so good.
Well, that gives me, I mean, because when you go into it when the season first starts and you feel that kind of like, oh, I don't know, I want to, you don't, if you want to stick with it, but hearing what y'all have to say, just get through that first season and then it's going to amp back up. So, I'd like to kind of almost try to do a rewatch, but that's like, like, I mean, I'm starting Eccleston. I'm talking, starting with Eccleston all through.
Chris Eck, man, was the, he started it
so
off.
good.
I mean, that was the worst thing, was that he didn't pick up, but then if he had kept going, we may never have gotten David Tennant.
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
yeah.
David Tennant picked up right after him, and David
Gosh.
Tennant
Right.
was arguably the best Doctor. I don't think so. I'm a Matt
Yeah,
Smith
The
fan.
no,
best
I'm-
modern,
I-
yeah.
I mean, David Tennant and Matt Smith, and I was just so sold into that and bought into every bit of all that.
Well,
That was
I
a
saw-
golden age, though, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, Paul McGann's doing something.
He is. I think they're trying to pitch like. I know he's doing the audio dramas with them.
Yeah,
But
but he's like they're doing a special with him as his
Yeah.
doctor. As the
Well,
eighth
with
Doctor.
Chris Eccleston,
No,
No, Paul McGann.
Paul McGann.
really? Okay,
Yeah, 8th. Yeah.
okay. Well, man, they're always recording like older stuff and bring they're definitely still trying to bring the the original 1963 version alive. But I don't know. I guess I'm one of the newer fans, and I really only know a lot about the
Yeah.
2005 onward.
Mhm.
Where they rebooted it, because it went off the air for a little while there,
Yeah.
and then Davies brought it back. But it's really cool to see him back. And you can definitely tell it's one of his episodes. You can feel it. It's just
Yeah.
like the pacing's right, the way they did the music, even down to how they did some of the baddies. I'll say
Yeah.
quote unquote baddies in there. It just feels like the whole thing feels like Davies. So
Yeah.
So we'll see where we
Yeah.
go from here. I'm hopefully I'm counting how many episodes into the new series we're gonna see before we see Daleks, and then how many we're gonna till we see Weeping Angels. So I mean those are kind of their big villains. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the standards. Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys really want to feel the good warm blanket of Doctor Who, it's back. If you had any
Yeah.
issues with the last couple seasons, it's back to where
Yeah.
at least I feel it needs to be.
And I feel, I've almost feel bad in a sense that I have just completely didn't realize that, oh, wow, this just happened. This happened. And
Yeah.
with everything that's been going on, I didn't realize that it had already started up. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's in its own, and just so that everyone knows, in the event that you want to watch it, it's on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're
They
actually-
got
they
the
actually
US
have one of these
streamings,
ones.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go on Disney Plus and watch it if you want. Next thing, I don't think any of my other fellow Bama geeks here are watching this, but there's a show on Amazon Prime called Invincible. I've mentioned it before. Robert Kirkland, the creator of Walking Dead, is the guy who did this, and it's a comic series, and they've turned it into a show, and it's already gone one season, and I've kind of given a recap on that before. Second season's going well now. There are 4 episodes in as of the air date of the recording date of this. It continues to be phenomenal. I'm not going to spoil it because I really do want my guys here to watch it eventually because it's very, very, very good. But season 2 doesn't disappoint so far. It's very good. It actually explores more of the title character Invincible and his father and all the craziness that happened at the end of the first season. So definitely highly recommend that one if you guys are looking for a good show to latch on to. If you're listening, you're like, hey, I don't know what I need to watch. If you've got Amazon Prime subscription, just hop over there and get the video player, load up season 1. If it doesn't hook you on the first episode, you're not gonna stick with it. The first episode, by the end of that, if you're not like intrigued, like I want to watch it again, like another episode, then you probably could just move on. And I say that confidently because I feel like just about everybody that's watched it at the end of the first episode, they're like, whoa, what the heck just happened? And then you just keep going from there. So yeah, Invincible season 2 is going super well on that. One I did kind of slip here at the very end that I wanted to mention, and the last one you'll hear me jawing on about here is a show that's been going on. It's an Apple original on their network. It's called For All Mankind. They are several seasons into this now. I have been binging this because I have several people on my socials that just live for this show, and I was like, these are folks that I really have very common interest in shows with them. So I gave it a shot, and I had watched it a while ago, and the whole deal is it's an alternate universe show, and it's based on what would happen if the Soviets had beat us to the moon.
I got
And that's what
okay.
happens in the first episode.
Yeah.
And I'm spoiling it for you, but that's just kind of the premise. Is the first episode, they're all like, okay, the Soviets got to the moon first.
So alt
And
history, yeah.
It is alt history, and then it keeps going from there. Like, it doesn't get crazy. it still stays, reality. We still have very similar presidents. Like you'd have presidential candidates. The music's there. Like at some point in the third season, you hear Black Hole Sun. So a lot of that stuff is still around, but you still have the Soviet Union that's around a lot longer. There's a lot more going on with that. They have a greater influence on countries in the world. So there's a lot. You don't think it'll pull you in, but you start really getting into it because you realize, in this alternate history, NASA gets a lot more funding because now if they beat us to the moon, we've got to beat them we got to land on the moon and we got to have the first moon base. And then we got to, so it's like this whole leapfrog thing happens. And then before you know it, this alt history has really become alt history because you've got them getting advancements that we haven't even thought of at this point first in the show. And they're doing it by the mid 70s, 90s. Just about each season will like leapfrog anywhere from 5 to 10 years between seasons. So you have the same characters, but they get older. And it's an incredible show. If you're into space, just not even sci-fi. It doesn't have to be sci-fi. If you're into space stuff like NASA, SpaceX, things like that, space exploration, you're probably going to love this show. There's a little bit of just a smidge of politics in it, not like House of Cards politics, crazy. It's just a smidge of politics in it, and it's more than anything, it's kind of a drama in a way, but it's very, very good. You follow a core set of actors and characters along the way, and then their children and whatnot as it goes along, and it's very good. They're actually on their 4th season now. I'm approaching the 4th season. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'm still kind of going through because it's the episodes are long on the series. But if you're looking for something like that, it is a bit of a watch. But I am. Let's just put it this way. I'm very glad that I gave it a second shot of watching it again.
Yeah, I like the all history stuff like that. Like I watched the Man in the High Castle on Amazon, which was really cool.
You would like this.
Okay.
You really would. I mean, the first season of the first episode, which I spoiled it for you.
Oh no, you're good. No, I mean that doesn't hook you. Then you're like, what do you watch the second episode and you realize what they're going to do to one up the Russians, and then and it's the main character, the recurring main character on this is Joel Kinnaman, which he was
Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, no.
Who was that?
Was not Deadshot. What is his? The one that was in charge, the military guy.
Flag.
Oh yeah,
Rick
Flag.
Yes,
Rick Flag.
Rick Flag. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Who was Captain Boomerang?
That was that's an Australian guy.
Jai Courtney.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was the guy that was Kyle Reese in Terminator.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
My bad. Okay. Yeah.
So and it's interesting to see the characters as they age. Because you can see that at the beginning they de-age them a good bit.
Yeah.
And it's not even with CGI. They do a really good job with makeup, but de-aging them. And then you get like mid-series, and you're like, okay, this is just their normal age right now. And then you get further on, and then they're having to age them more. The cast in the show is just phenomenal. They do a great job. It's one of those shows that you start binging it, and it's long, and the episodes are long, but you just can't stop watching it because it's that good.
There's 2 shows on Apple I want to watch. I want to watch that and the Monarch show on the Godzilla and King Kong type thing.
Well, I got a binge in on our trip to Orlando. Historical TV along those lines as the Crown. This is its final season.
Oh yes,
Kevin, do you like the Crown?
Yes.
Good. Because Brock's like, I don't care.
Oh my God, that show is incredible.
I don't really pay attention to the mascots. That's all the Royals are over there.
So I don't either, Brock. But the show itself, just the drama of just it is so good.
Okay, good.
I
didn't know this, Kevin. Oh, that's good to know. I watched it because this final season's divided into 2 parts. The first part has 4 episodes. I was able to watch the whole first part on the drive. So, and that was the first part of this season covers Diana and Dodie and the events leading up to the car crash. And the second half's going to have to do more with William growing into his role
Yeah.
and meeting Kate. So it's going to follow up with that. So I'm kind of wondering they're going to, this is it. This is done.
Oh
So-
man, if they're gonna
Oh,
throw
this-
shade at current stuff.
See, look. Oh, this is great.
I
Okay.
don't know.
And
if they're gonna bring Megan into it.
no, yeah. So that's. I've enjoyed this series. I've enjoyed this. It's gonna be it's gonna be sad to see it go, but I have enjoyed that, and I've also I've also been watching the Julia Child thing on HBO Max. The
Oh,
little
yeah.
series that they're doing about
Mhm.
Julia. Her and I don't know her the girl that's playing Julia. I'm not really familiar with anything else she's ever been in, but David Hyde Pierce is in it. So it's been a great little series, and it's basically just kind of talking about how she came into creating the TV show and how all it was put together. So I've enjoyed that. So I wouldn't say that I've been totally removed from watching anything outside of wrestling, but wrestling's been pretty much the dominant watch in the house most of the time.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things that y'all would probably be surprised to hear that I've not made it through yet. I'm not going to elaborate any further on that. But yeah, so I can talk a lot of wrestling right now.
Mhm.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
But
I'd be interested to see For All Mankind. I have never been one for alt history, but what really kind of turned the corner for me on that was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
Tarantino's take on Manson.
yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Look,
come on, anybody. Tarantino's take on just about anything.
Yeah.
You're gonna at least want to know. About
yeah,
it, right?
that whole
Uh,
Manson thing, goodness.
That went bonkers.
golly.
That went so bonkers at the end. I was like, wow, that didn't happen, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. You want to talk about a complete 180 turn,
Well,
yeah.
I love
I will say,
Tarantino.
For All Mankind does not go off the deep end like that at all. I mean, if anything, the best thing about the show is that everything that they do, you could believe it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like, and the whole thing, the worst thing about it, the worst thing about the show is you get a couple of seasons in, or you get a season in, or like 2 seasons in, and you're like, man, you know what? If the Soviet Union had survived, we'd probably be on Mars now.
Mhm. It's
Like
crazy.
as of like 20 years ago, we would have been, because we would have had a reason to continue competing, because I mean that was part of the reason they stopped trying so hard, was because we beat them to the moon.
Mhm.
But if they had gotten there first, we would have been it would have been this constant thing of one-upmanship that would have been
Mhm.
sparked after that. And that's pretty much the whole premise of For All Mankind. It's, yeah, Brock, you would most likely like it. It's
Oh, I
Incredible.
think you would. That sounds right up his alley.
Yeah.
mm,
No, I
Yeah.
love
Yep.
space stuff.
cool.
Okay.
That's all. I won't jaw on anymore. We can wrap it up if you guys want.
Yeah, I really don't have anything else for the episode, which is yeah, go ahead, man.
I got to brag on my kiddo again. He won his school spelling bee last Friday. I just
Oh,
wanted to
yeah,
brag.
Did
Nice.
see that. Yeah.
Oh.
What word did he win with?
Well, it was weird. Is he had to see. It was let's see. It was interesting because it was like 3rd through 5th grade. So some of the words were really big. Some of them were really simple. He's 3rd grade. This is the second time a 3rd grader's won his school spelling bee.
Oh.
But he got down to the last one, and the kid before him, he misspelled the word. But then he had to do mantle. But then after he got that correct, he had to do a championship word, which was salute.
Okay.
All right.
But it was interesting because like we studied a good bit of words because like on his sheet, bamboozled was a word.
Really?
Man.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Where was one of the words we practiced that he actually had to spell? I can't remember. I had to work that day. My wife went, but I know one of the words we practiced was one of them he did. But like I said, yeah, he
Oh.
so he's gonna. I think he does like the county sometime in January or February. We'll see how that goes.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Definitely
Aw.
keep us updated
That's
on that.
great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
You know, one thing that I've always found curious about spelling bees, I wonder if other languages, I mean, obviously, I would think other languages have spelling bees too, but I
Yeah.
wonder if they have as difficult of a time with their spelling bees as we do ours, because English is a very weird language.
Yeah.
It is.
like really weird, like you could have the same word with the same syllables in it, or the same verbiage in it, and then it's pronounced entirely differently, which throws you off as to how it's spelled.
Yeah.
So I've always wondered if other languages have the same difficulties and the trip ups that we do with our language.
I don't know. Yeah, English is a
Hmm.
polished
Uh,
thing sometimes.
It's a polished turd. You can go and
Yeah.
say it. Yep, it's a polished turd. I'll say it for you.
just
And
as
you-
just as I would just as long as Oliver doesn't celebrate with "I am the smartest man alive." Spell couch.
Yes.
Are you going to the mall later? Sorry, I just diverted to Billy Madison there. It's
Nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, I don't have anything else.
Well,
My
since we
brain has
are the
been-
Bama geeks, can
Huh?
we at least remark on the big game that happened?
Oh.
We got to bring it
Oh
up.
boy.
That's how we're gonna wrap it up. Huh?
Yes.
We're gonna tie a bow
Yes.
on this episode.
Yeah, Jess is very happy with you right now.
Well,
And-
look, I
Look.
mean, yeah. So, I mean, I was like, I was really surprised in a sense that
yeah.
they, especially after losing to New Mexico,
Yeah.
I was like, oh goodness, we're going to get
Yeah.
creamed. But the one thing about the Iron Bowl is that records are out the
Nope.
window. It
Yep.
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's-
their
it-
handicaps that they level out.
Yeah. You never know. I mean, this game sometimes it's either going to be a complete slaughter, or
Yeah.
like we had,
It's-
it was very back and forth. It was a lot of back and forth, more so than I expected out of this year. Yeah, I thought Bama was just going to come in and dominate. I mean,
Me too.
big-
well, they were coming in to dominate.
Well, since it was at Jordan Hare this year, the biggest thing that I found hilarious was the people that were posting on like Facebook afterwards, talking about like, is the traffic at this part of 280 this bad usually? And it's like, oh, you poor little soul. You've never seen Iron Bowl traffic. I'm so sorry.
Well, strange. There has been the years that there's been the unexpected outcomes and winning with 1 second on the clock, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of interesting outcomes to the game in years, and
I'm
this
sure.
this was no different.
I'm hoping that's the new standard, because 10 years of the 1 second and during the Iron Bowl during every
Yeah.
5 minutes is
Yeah,
way. Even though I'll admit, even though I'm an Alabama fan and I hate it happened against us, I think the kick six might be one of the most like impressive things in college football I've ever witnessed. Even though I hate it, it happened against my preferred team.
Yeah.
It was an incredible play. I give that there and there, but
it is our state rivalry, and it's always
Yeah.
it always holds a special place with us for our teams, and yeah. So
I mean, I talk to people that are outside of Alabama. I work with folks that are in Michigan,
mhm.
and they're riding high right now, obviously, because Michigan's
Yeah.
doing really, really, really well, right?
Yeah.
I was
So
very
they're
happy
riding
with that
high.
outcome.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So even they know about the rivalry here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of the most. It's probably one of the biggest rivalries in the country
Hands
so
down.
far as college
Yeah.
football
Yeah.
goes. Like, it's like you got 2 Alabama teams. Yeah, we do.
It
We
gets
really
played
do.
with a lot of passion, a lot of
Yep.
heart. It's just a lot to it, more than just a football game.
And the one thing I did want to note about Auburn as well, not Iron Bowl related, but did you guys see their halftime, the Auburn's band halftime performance of Metallica?
I saw that. Yes, that was.
I saw videos of it from.
I sent
like,
you a
couple weeks
video
ago.
on that,
Yeah,
Bo. Yeah,
that was
Yeah.
cool. I give them that. That was cool.
yeah.
That
Now
was very cool.
I don't remember where it is, and then I'd have to put a link in the Bama Geek Front Porch, but they were actually in a competition for other bands that were performing Metallica shows or something like that. That you could go out and you could vote for Auburn's show for that. So if you do some quick Googling, if it's not posted up on the Bama Geeks Front Porch by the time you hear this,
Mhm.
you should be able to find the entry for that. and vote for.
I'd vote
your
for him.
favorite
I mean,
team.
like regardless of my.
Hey,
life,
you know
I'm
what?
like,
The
yeah.
way here's my policy when it comes to Alabama and Auburn. I will cheer gladly for both teams all year long until the Iron Bowl, and then it's roll tide.
That's
100%.
that feeling is the same here. Yes.
Notice
I got a
how
friend of mine who
I will say there are one or two fans I am more happy about. Usually I'm generally good. I hate to see my team lose to another team or vice versa, but there's a couple of folks who rattle the cage that I'm happy we beat them or not, but I know that's the other way. I promise you, it's very warranted. Believe me.
There's a couple of people that get muted during
There you
football
go.
season,
There you
and
go.
I'll just leave it at that. So
There you go.
there's always folks that take it too far, and
Yep.
they're just annoying, and that's in everything. I mean, you get old enough,
that's-
you realize you gotta ignore some people in certain times of the year, or all the time, depending on.
And just like people who know me on social media, I stay very quiet about the Iron Bowl these days. And that's because I'm a 2-time Bama graduate and I worked for Auburn for 10 years. So I'm closely connected to both schools. And I can tell you things from both schools. And I just leave it alone.
There you go.
You're just afraid of that hit squad coming after you.
I ain't worried about that. There's a reason I'm not at Auburn anymore. I'll leave it at that. But I typically don't say boo or anything about the Iron Bowl. Because, I mean, my wife's an Auburn fan. I worked for them.
So that was a phenomenal game. I think everybody here will agree. That was it was a phenomenal game to watch.
Yep.
So,
I watched. I had it on mute the whole time,
mhm.
and not just because of Gary Danielson.
Oh yeah. I tell you that like I said, I'm amazed. I still watched that last 30 seconds because that botched snap. I was like, yep, that's it. That's it.
And it never fails. Like if there's ever a game that's close like that, there'll always be memes people posting about like how the refs were blind and all the stuff like that. But if there's any difference in it at all, you usually don't see as many of those posts. So I'll always think that's kind of funny. It's like, yeah, I'm sure the refs, but I mean, God, I would not want to be a ref in college football.
No,
I mean, man, it just no. I know that's I would be an air traffic controller before I would be a ref. Okay, no. So, yeah.
Well, all right. Well, this is a shortened episode. I'm looking at the length of time.
All good.
I mean,
Quality over quantity, baby.
there you go.
Yeah. Yep. So, and for wrestling fans, CM Punk's back in WWE. We'll just leave it at that.
We had two big returns. Him and our
Randy Orton.
No, the more important one, Danhausen.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Arthur.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a big week for returns.
Yep.
And in Chicago.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So that's the only thing I had to contribute for the end of the podcast. If you haven't seen the return of Punk, go do it.
Yourself, it's if you're aware of wrestling happenings, watch it.
That was magic. Watching that reaction in Chicago for him coming back.
I saw an interaction between two people I know on Facebook, and they were like, they miss it because they popped up the copyright logo like the end of the show, and they just turned it off, and then they completely missed it. I was like, oh,
yeah. We were staying plugged in because I do the press conference afterwards anyway. So yeah, I saw that copyright, and I was like, well, I guess that's it. And that wasn't it.
Nope. It's good stuff. Go check it out if you haven't.
Yeah.
So. Well, anything else from you guys before we wrap this up?
I'm sure I forgot something, but we'll catch you guys next time. Odds are, if I forget something that is important enough, then we'll mention it next time, and it'll be like, Kevin, why are you talking about this? This happened weeks ago.
Yep. So again, on social media, give us a follow. Say hi at Bama Geeks on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. That's where you can find us. You can also find us on that lovely little Facebook platform, the Bama Geeks Front Porch. That's our private group. Just request to join. We'll let you in, and you can chit chat with some fellow I almost said geeks and nerds together. Some girds.
Some
We're
girds.
girds.
Yeah,
I think
we're
you
girds.
I think
We
you
are.
found our domain for what we need to call our folks the
The
girds.
girds.
We're the girds. Yeah, GERD is just heartburn.
The Bama girds.
Yeah.
Bama girds.
There you go. We are your heartburn specialty.
Mm.
Anyway, you interact with fellow geeks and nerds in there. And then if you want to toss $5 to get some bonus content, patreon.com/BamaGeeks. That's where you can find that. So we're going to say goodbye to episode Bill and Ted
Goodbye.
to 69. And we'll be back mid-December with or early to mid-December with episode 70. I guess hard to
70.
believe we are
Wow.
that far along. So we'll be closing in
Mm.
on 3 years before you know it. So thanks again, as always, for joining us. We appreciate you listening, appreciate your support. And for Bo and Kevin and Jessica, I'm Brock. We're the Bama Geeks, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Later, girds.